wow, this little girl who comes from this crazy country with this crazy background, I'm part of this normal life and I'm being loved and I love this being loved. And like, this is gonna be the take. I feel it. I feel it. Haven't had my full cup of coffee, so if I get weird or say random stuff, please don't judge me too much. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about love, and especially I want to share 3 things that have really helped me level up in my relationship, and it's part of a 2-part series. Yes, 2-part series, because I'm going to do a second video next week, and that is all about the advice I got from Atena leading up to 3 months before I got married to my husband. I can't believe I'm married. I'm not speaking too loud because he's actually sleeping in the other room. And so for me, marriage is a big deal. I know some people say, oh, getting married is the same thing, especially if you live with that person. I'm going to be straight up with you. It is not the same thing for me. I definitely feel a shift leading up to it. I definitely feel different having made that commitment. Maybe that's just me. Maybe you relate. But first I want to say something quickly about how it all happened, because people who know me, or if you follow me on Instagram, they're like, what the hell happened? Like, you not a peep out of you about this marriage, or they call it a wedding. But like, the thing is, I didn't know all of this was going to happen. And I'll explain why. But the main reason is we have postponed the actual wedding. And the reason for that is really because of COVID and all the health risks and all the restrictions. Even right now in Montreal, we are in full lockdown. So for me, it just became kind of impossible for us to organize an actual wedding, because my dad and my little sister are in Iran. My best friend growing up is in Geneva. My soul sister is in Sweden. My girl Kiki is in Paris. And like, all of these people traveling, first of all, we weren't supposed to have our wedding here. We wanted to have it abroad. It just became so not possible that we were like, let's just sign the papers, because we wanted that to make that commitment for ourselves. And so the date ended up falling on Halloween, the blue full moon, which is super wild. Like, I can't believe that's the date, because in Montreal you have to register, and that was the closest date we could get. And so literally the Monday night, I think there's a part of me, I was talking to my best friend, I was like, man, maybe like a couple of people can come. I don't want to make other people sad. And there's this whole restriction. I don't want anyone to get a fine. It's $1,000 fine per person. And I don't want to put anyone at risk. But wouldn't it be just nice if we had maybe a couple of people just like at a distance, cheersing as we sign the papers? And like, she jumped on board so fast. I feel like she was mentally prepared. Laura, I love you. And so the Tuesday she sent me to a Jocassi. That's where I got my cute little outfit, that white blazer dress, which I love. And then on Wednesday, my husband and I went and looked for locations. We found a gorgeous location, and then we were all tying in loose ends. Like, I got my nail appointment, my eyelash appointment, and then literally Friday night, we lost the location because my girl Roxy went and she's like, Atena, I think there's a movie being filmed here. She sent me the pictures, and like, of course, Halle Berry decides to film a movie, the very place that I chose 3 days ago. Does she not know I chose this place 3 days ago to get married? Anyways, 24 hours before we're about to get married, and we still don't know where we're going to get married. And that's when one of Steven's best friends like, let's just do it at my parents' house. Let's see if they'll allow it. They have a huge backyard. They by the water with a gazebo. I'm like, whoa, could it be more perfect? Guys, we didn't have rings. This ring is borrowed also from the same person who designed my ring, my engagement ring, I mean. And like, my husband like went to look for some food. We went, my best friend behind the scene, Alicia, Laura, and Roxy, they found a harpist, a videographer, and you'll see the video at the very end. And it's so beautiful. My mom and my mother-in-law, they went all out with creating decorations. My sister and her husband like took over photography. One of my brothers officiated. The other one created a nice speech to put the ambiance when we got married. And literally, it's wild how when it came to just celebrating that love, everyone just kind of came together, and everything came together so imperfectly perfect. as my girl Shireen put it, and it's just beautiful. It was like, I'm so happy we did that. I'm so happy we shared that moment. And even though it was kind of bittersweet because so many people couldn't come, I'm proud that we got to celebrate that. And I'm happy that starting this new chapter was actually started with a beautiful celebration. Short, but beautiful. That's like a note about saying how it's wild that love in itself in many ways is effortless. Like being in that state of love and loving the right person and allowing them to love you feels so amazing. That said, you guys know I set specific intentions to find this love, to attract it, to manifest it into my life. And between the time I created that video where I first got engaged and now, so many things have shifted within me. A lot of it I'm going to get even deeper into next week, but I want to share these snippets of what I believe are really important for anyone, either whether you are in a relationship or you are seeking a relationship, to really be conscious of and program your subconscious. We're going to talk about that so that when you have that love, you nurture it and grow it and allow it to be a part of your heart as it is meant to. And really, my first piece of advice is really about understanding beyond what you want, what you are. I know, for example, with Steven and I have a very specific idea of the type of love that I truly wanted. That ride or die. I don't want any reservations. You are my family. You are my number one. And I also want to show up as my best self. As we were creating this in our lives, there's a moment specifically right after I came back from Iran, which was exactly, I think, a year ago this moment, like after those protests. It was really heavy climate to be in. I realized that I had more survivor's guilt in me than I originally anticipated. And that did take a toll on my relationship, because anyone who is suffering from any type of emotional trauma, like survivor's guilt, if you don't know what survivor's guilt is, for me, it was leaving Iran and having my mom, literally suffer and benefiting from that suffering of hers as she provided us this beautiful life. I felt tremendously guilty. And for the longest time, I thought it was just towards her. So when I forgave myself and I rebuilt my relationship with her, I thought, well, I'm done. And then when I came back from Iran with everything that happened, I realized that no, I actually feel it towards the entire nation. So my girl Damaisi, shout out to you. You are absolutely amazing. I'm going to link her below here. She really helped me deal with this. She coached me through it, really giving me everything I needed in terms of healing that. As we got to our vacation between the end of 2019 and going into 2020, we were in St. Martin for a month with my in-laws, and it was such a beautiful trip, so drama-free, so much love, so like the opposite of what happened in Iran. And like there's a part of me that was like, wow, this little girl who comes from this crazy country with this crazy background, I'm part of this normal life and I'm being loved, and I love this being loved. And like, okay, wow, I didn't think that was going to happen. But logically, I knew I deserved that. But there's so much resistance that came out of me because there's so much fear. Like, how could it be that I get this? Like, how could I be so lucky? Like, what if I lose this? And my partner, at the time we were engaged, and like, he felt it. Like I was being like very like, not aggressive, but very like pushing him back. And he's like, what are you doing? And like, it hit me like, what the am I doing? In that moment, I caught myself and I said, I'm sorry. I've never had this and I've always wanted it. And now that it's here, I'm like, whoa. And so, if you see my posts from around that time, like I really spent a lot of time meditating on the beach and being with him and allowing myself to say, it is safe for me to have this. I deserve this. I'm allowed to have this love. And so that's when I fell so so much deeper in love with him. And it was beautiful, but yeah, it was hard, guys. Like it was like a picnic in the sense we were in St. Martin, but like deciding that, like, and confronting that was very worth it. So I've been doing a lot of shadow work over the years and a lot this year. So I really highly recommend for anyone, even if you've found that love, do the shadow work, because odds are there are still monsters in there. You need to take them out, because the more you remove that, the more you can actually take in the love that you truly deserve in this life, and you can truly give it back the way you desire to give it back, the way your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, friends deserve to have that love. So that was probably the biggest piece of advice I have. The second advice I have is something I came across more recently, and that's to know your relationship style. And I'm going to link below Ty Skipson's School of Development. I really like what she's done. It's a 10-minute quiz and she has so many YouTube videos. Make it a goal for you to get into that secure relationship style. That's really the place you want to be. I'm not going to go too much into it because I want you to like eventually just check it out. And a second piece of advice I'll attach to this is something that I recognized a few years ago, and that's to know what your core personality type is. So you can change any part of your behavior, your identity, but you do have a core personality type that makes it that you communicate in a certain way. Certain situations bring out the best in you, certain situations bring out the worst in you. So when I became certified in DISC, I actually did it to help companies, to help their management teams. And in a really funny way, it helped me with my relationship. So I want to talk about that. So when you do the DISC assessment, you get to know what your core personality type is. And it has helped us avoid so many arguments. And I can give you one quick example. So our first vacation that we were planning, Steven loves to go into detail, loves to look at reviews, wants to have all the information before he makes a choice. I'm the kind of person who is very enthusiastic and results driven, and I just want to make a decision fast. So you could see how we're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum, but that also really helps because it's amazing to have someone to do that research and to go and make sure we get the best of the best. And then it's nice to have someone finally pull the trigger. That's where I come in. So originally, like if I didn't know that about us, I would have let it go on indefinitely. And then after a while, it's like, okay, what, are we not going to make a decision? And just kind of have that in mind, like not knowing your core personality types can really lead to miscommunication. And also, if you add that with your relationship style, making sure that you're secure, it really helps build a balanced relationship, helps the communication and all of that flow. And now the third thing that I have to say, and it's something that we've worked on a lot in the last couple of years, but more specifically this year, and that is to have crazy commitment couple goals. That's not the same as just spending quality time together. I mean, I don't know about you, but with COVID, we've literally spent the last 8 months together. We both work from home. We both own our own businesses. We spend a lot of quality time. I take my breaks with him, which is really cool. I love that. And so, but like just spending that quality time is great, but now we have a common goal. So we have completely shifted our diets. We are working out together. I've shed a good 10 pounds, I believe. He shed like 65. Hello. And like so many other goals that we're working on, and I'll get more into that next week because that comes a lot also from Elena Cardone's advice. And that's it, you guys. I'm so happy to share this video with you. I really hope it helps you in some way, and stick around and watch the snippet of how we got married. Send you all so much love. Make sure you celebrate that love during COVID, okay?
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what it means, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you, oh you.
I want to thank my mom for bringing me here, raising me. She did an amazing job. My two brothers who have always protected me, my sister who always is a ray of sunshine in my life, my two best friends that are here, Vicky, my mother-in-law.
I now officially pronounce you two husband and wife.
Oh my God!